Welcome to AirHeads. Coming up, Roger turns market trader and prices up the essentials to go HFTing.
It's a bag of sand. It's £1,000, £1,000.
Darren changes the habit of a lifetime and gives the 177 a go. We have HotAir, we have Airstreaming. First, a man with a mission: agricultural pest control. As you can tell from this young Hampshire farmer, there's a war going on here with local pests. Armed with a silenced shotgun though he is, Tom's shock troops consist of our old friend Jamie Chandler, the airgunner born without hands who doesn't let that get in the way of a great day out. We start with the promise of decoying. Tom is complaining about pigeons and has the perfect place for Jamie to set out his decoys.
We'll probably go the other side of this wood. There's a little strip of wild bird cover that's growing, starting to grow. So I think if we sit in the wood, put some decoys just out under a tree maybe, because they love these woods, the pigeons, and should be able to pick some off from there.
Cracking, brilliant. A quick 0 later and we're ready to set up. This guy got here before us, but he's not been doing his job, so it is out with the hide poles and up with the hide.
Because it's got a pointed end, we'll cut an angle like that. It seems to just screw its way in. So that's my tip: twist it and put force down, and you'll eventually just more screwing. Funny boys.
As for decoy patterns, Jamie's philosophy is clear.
Just like a shotgun pattern, if it doesn't work, change it. I always use a traditional horseshoe, but I tend to put the full bodied at the front, the half shells at the back, and just get as many out there as I can.
Then we sit and wait, and wait, and wait. The gamekeeper has forgotten we're here and drives through, but that doesn't put off the birds. There are no birds. The spotting scope picks up a magpie and a crow, but they're hundreds of yards away. Jamie doesn't get a single shot. Despite all the planning, the birds are not here today. Tom reckons he might have been too quick to sack the scarecrow.
The scarecrows are invaluable actually. It's such old technology, but it just works. It really did work. But as with everything else, they get used to it after a while.
It's time to change tactics. From the other side of the wood where we parked, we can see the cattle trough on the next door farm, and it is heaving with corvids. Again, it takes the spotting scope to see them.
Yeah, there is dozens, by the looks of things, of crows coming in over on the, just by the rubble thing over there.
You know, black feathers, they're going to be hot, aren't they?
I've got a couple
They will keep coming back to that water trough.
So the plan is, if we go up this road,
Yep.
yeah, and is there somewhere we can park behind the hardcore?
Yes.
And then sneak up onto the top of it?
We drive on down to the yard. The problem with this stalk is it's going to put Jamie out into the open, and these birds are sensibly wary. Jamie eases himself into a position with a view of the water butt. At first, the only creatures that come near him are the livestock. Birds paw past, but they know to avoid him. Then an unlucky pigeon comes too close.
The water providing that kind of Serengeti go to the waterhole type atmosphere, and it proved successful. That was a cracking shot, and really happy to have made it.
The corvids are still around, so next tactic is to stalk the farmyard itself. As hunters vermin and others show in their films, farm buildings make great cover for airgunners. It's also a chance for Tom to prove that a silenced shotgun is just as good as an airgun.
So does that disturb the cattle as much as a normal shotgun?
No, not nearly as much as a normal one would. I mean, you wouldn't want to use it too close, but no, because you've got less of that boom, you've got a lot of less echo.
Yeah.
And that's what would frighten the cattle more than anything. They're used to loud noises with the tractors banging away and everything, but it's that boom that they really don't like. And this just reduces that, making it more farmyard friendly.
First blood, however, goes to the airgun. We round a corner and there is a young bird not quick enough to react to our presence, giving Jamie plenty of time to get onto it.
It's gone. Well, Tom just pointed that rook out, which has just come into the end of the muck heap, where they've raked it out. And just, what was that, 25, 30 yards? When was the last time you saw a rook with its back to you 30 yards away? It just doesn't happen, but this is the great thing about airguns. You can be opportunistic. You'd never try a shotgun around a barn like this because you frighten the livestock, but we can do that with an airgun and nothing's disturbed.
The best chances are around the corners of the barns and the bales. Unfortunately, that's a miss. And so is that. They are at the extremes of range here. Tom at last gets a go with his silenced shotgun, and he knows who to blame when the bird flies on.
Well, I missed because I was waiting for the cameraman to turn his camera on. But no, to be honest, when it was going so slowly, I didn't anticipate much lead, and it probably was going faster than I thought it was, to be honest.
I hit that!
How did that happen? Oh, that's brilliant.
This is not fun, I don't like it.
More misses than a girls' school. There's only one thing for it.
It is designed for scaring birds off of crop. It's essentially a firework or a rocket, but without the pretty sparks. Hell of a bang to it, incredibly effective actually. Yeah, really good little bit of kit. But in the summer, also if you're out shooting, want to move the birds a little bit, why not?
Light blue touch paper and stand well clear. Why is the touch paper always light blue? Jamie feeding the family again. Well, a very small child or maybe a ferret. Now, someone who always delivers a gutful, it's David with HotAir. And in case you ask, we have sacked his stylist.
This is HotAir. A shooting range in Northampton is to receive funding from a grant scheme from the local council. On Target received £10,000 from the council's business improvement scheme to help make Northampton a destination for the large number of people who enjoy shooting airguns. A growth in interest in underlever airguns in the USA has proved a boost for airgun manufacturer Hatsan. It has released its new Torpedo 150 Sniper Combo airgun in America, a gas piston airgun with a German-made barrel. A US government ban on firearms-related data being posted online has led to one activist doing just that. Peter de Simone reveals legal schematics for a 3D printed airgun, saying, "If Mr. Obama had not attempted to stifle free speech in this way, I probably would have simply worked on another, more innocuous project. But as it is, I felt compelled to act." The best airgun shots in the world come from Asia, so it's all eyes on the Asian Airgun Sporting Championship. It'll take place in New Delhi from September the 25th to October the 1st. China has won most airgun shooting medals at the Olympics and has just won gold and silver at the World Cup event currently underway in Azerbaijan. Its shooters are up against strong competition from India and South Korea. Meanwhile, Iran won 2 medals and 2 quota places in Azerbaijan for airgun events at Rio 2016. And finally, a squirrel brought a game of baseball to a halt. Play in the Kansas City versus Detroit was suspended when this squirrel ran across the pitch and eventually dived off into the changing rooms. You are now up to date with HotAir, aiming for accuracy, targeting the truth.
Thank you, David. See, it's all the rage now. Now, I hope you enjoyed the CLA Game Fair if you got there. Kai Ap Bryn certainly did. This is him winning the Air Arms speed shooting competition on the range. He knocked 3 seconds off the next place shooter and beat more than 800 other entrants. He's also £100 better off. From one sharp shooter to a sharp dresser, it's our own lyrical master of HFT, Roger Lait.
Right, so that's the ABC of HFT. We've gone from unboxing, cleaning, done everything, to zeroing, and now you've got your gun sorted. Now, what's it all going to cost? You better send the other half in the other room for a second, right? Let's go through this. A gun, CO2 gun for HFT, not really what you want. But you can get a gun for £400 or £500 second hand, up to £2.5 grand if you want to buy brand new. Again, a scope from £100 up to £2.5 grand, whatever you want to spend, whatever you can afford. Chrono, they cost me a few quid, but £100 for a decent one. Set of scales, 65, 70 quid off eBay. Tin of pellets, tenner, but shop around. See what your gun likes, as we said. Your gun might not like this, it might like that, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. An extensive toolkit, because there's lots of little adjustments you're going to need. I got that, it's brilliant, it works a treat. So you're going to get wet, you're going to get muddy, you're going to get hot. So, clothing. This jackpot jacket is lovely. It's nice and light, but it's ever so warm, and also it's waterproof. Yeah, you don't have to spend a fortune on it. These are my rough trousers. You're going to get wet and dirty, but again, as I say, you're going to get hot. A decent set of boots as well. Nice, comfy boots, because you're going to do kneeling shots, you're going to do standing shots, there's going to be mud everywhere. You definitely need a decent set of boots. Mounts for your scope. You can go cheap, you can get them off eBay for nothing. Is that the right thing to do? Would you get a Ferrari and fill it out with diesel? I don't think you would you? What you want to do is sports match all the way. Right. I love sports match mounts. They're easy to set up. They're not massively expensive by any stretch. So sports match mounts, perfect. So for all the gear that I've got here, yeah, if we totted it up, it's a bag of sand. It's £1,000, £1,000. But do you need to spend £1,000? Well, not really. You can gun share. You can borrow bits off your mates. You can do all sorts of things. You can get cheaper guns, you can get cheaper scopes. Do you need a £2,500 scope? Not really. But if you've got the money and you can do it, have it. Lovely. But it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Do you have to spend a load of money on a gun? As I said to you before, if a gun fits you and it's £300, it's £300 well spent. You can have a better gun, of course you can, right? But I don't know. For me personally, if it fits nicely and I can afford it, I'll have it. I won't tell the missus, but I'll have it. A scope. You know, you look for a scope, some of them look wonderful with all their lovely reps and all that sort of thing, and you go, oh, that's fantastic. But is it? Try it out. Use your mates' ones, yeah? Go down to a local club and say, can I have a go at your gun, please? Don't break it, by the way. Again, I've been there. Just have a go of it. If it fits nicely and it suits you, how much is that scope? £150. I'll have one of those, lovely. There's so many sites you can buy them off. There's forums you can go on. They've always got second-hand gear on there. You've got from Schmidt & Bender down to the cheapest Rhino scopes. But, you know, if it works for you, you don't have to spend a fortune. But listen, if you do spend the money and you want to come along to an HFT Masters and have a laugh, because that's what it's all about, have a laugh, and you can win lots of good prizes, of course, but you'll get into your shooting, and then suddenly you will find that extra £50 for a new muzzle flip. You'll find the extra £200 for a better scope. It happens like that. It's addictive. Mark my words, it's addictive. It's a great fun sport. And once you get into it, you'll love it. And you're out in the fresh air, and it's a nice day. Can it get better than that? Nah, it can't. Come along to an HFT Masters. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Master of the dark arts, Darren Rogers, has been spending far too much time in daylight recently. Before we dispatch him back to the shadows, we ask the dedicated 2.2 shooter if he'll give the 177 any credit.
This is very uncharted territory. Man and boy, I've only air rifle wise, and I've shot a lot of air rifles, I've only ever been a 2.2. There's no reason other than the very first air rifle I was given was a 2.2, and every air rifle I've ever bought or used since has always been a 2.2. And I've never found or had any reason to change, other than I suppose the older you get, I just got a little bit more inquisitive. And when I was in with ASI picking up the FAC air rifles, they offered me the chance to have a play with the Cyclone, because the Cyclone, I've got to say, has always been my favourite air rifle in 2.2. And they gave me a Cyclone in 177 and said, go have a play with that. And it's nice, it's got the very tactile synthetic stock on it. You've got these very soft rubber pads that I've got to say are very, very comfortable. I don't know how durable they're going to be over time. But very, very nice to use, and I now need to relearn trajectory and wind. But I've just put a couple of targets out there, one at 28 metres and another one at 35. And we've got, what, an 8 to 10 mile an hour wind that keeps changing, and it seems particularly accurate. So I'm going to spend a few more hours playing. I must, learn the trajectory and make sure I'm 100% happy, and then I'll go out and try it on some rabbits. It's certainly quieter. My biggest concern, the biggest doubt in my mind is wind drift. Is, how much more am I going to have to calculate for breeze compared to a 2.2? It may be less, it may be more, which is why I'm going to spend some more time shooting targets at different angles with different crosswinds and just see how the pellet performs.
I'd have thought at your age the biggest problem would be actually handling the pellets, because they're a lot smaller.
No comment. Again, the FX uses such a very simple rotary magazine. There's no spring-loaded mechanism. It is purely drop a pellet in. I'll just demonstrate so even with my age and my eyesight. One magazine loaded, didn't drop any or fumble any. Look. As simple as that, and loaded. So I'll give you my honest reaction to my first try with a 177. I think at 35 yards or 35 metres is performing admirably. There's been what, 3 or 4 misses, but all acceptable misses. And I think, you know, considering it's the first time I've used this calibre in these conditions, I'm more than happy. I know the wind drift is slightly more than on my 2.2, so it's just a case of reading the cycles of the wind, not being over adventurous with the shots. The grouping seems extremely good.
Thank you, Darren. And from you, Darren, in Suffolk, to the rest of the world of airgunning on YouTube, it is Airstreaming. Charlie Jacoby here. This is my roundup of the best air gunning on YouTube, and this week it is all about the comparisons and contrasts between the UK and the USA. Let's start with a bit of British. Squirrel hunter breaks the habit of a lifetime and goes out after rabbits in this film. Andy's Range is out with his HW97 engaged in long-range rabbit and pigeon control. That's in the UK. In the USA, the airgun hunter is decoying turkeys using a Benjamin Trail NP2 in 2.2. He pulls off a 9-yard headshot. Here's a mark of distinction. Two companies shouting about their products in different ways. For the American Crossman, the NP2 is about thumpy music and images of hunters. Meanwhile, British BSA goes techie for its R10 film. It shows off the airgun by pulling it apart and showing the design and engineering. You decide. I'm impressed with the style of this review. Airgunreview.tv shows off the important parts of the Apex Predator in graphic form before sitting down and talking about it. Airguns of Arizona comes to England, which it helpfully points out is in the UK. Still in the UK would probably be more to the point. It makes a good factory film about day state. And finally, it is important for your education and for mine that you watch this. A channel called Zombie Go Boom, guess what that's about, enlists the help of the respected American Airgunner channel to find an airgun of choice for when the zombie invasion takes place. Yes, when. Or does it turn out that the US has been a hotbed of irony these last 200 years, which the rest of us have missed? Click on the links to watch the videos, or you will find them in this film's description. If you would like to send in a video for Airstreaming, ping me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. If you're not so keen on those, here's a good film on the Air Arms YouTube channel. The Great Britain Junior Rifle Squad is holding a training session, and the Air Arms cameras are there to see what that involves. The enthusiasm of both kids and the people who run the squad comes across well. They're a great team and clearly set on medal glory at the Olympics. The squad is formed by some of the very best young shooters in the country. Lots of friendly rivalry, each checking who's ahead or below on the scores. For more information on the GB Juniors, go to gbjs.org.uk, and to watch the film in full, click on the link on the screen. Thank you for watching. We are back in a couple of weeks. This has been Airheads. Goodbye.